Okay, so we just launched 3 of our episodes.
Okay, yes. Sorry, I got distracted because I have another update. I know.
Oh my God.
So I woke up this morning to a delightful email from Spotify, and they said, "Congratulations, you're in the double digits," which means we had 10 listens on our podcasts. And to catch everyone up, at this point, we had just dropped episodes 1 through 3 because our mother wanted to listen to them.
She did, and I wanted to listen to them. I listened to all of them twice, and I've decided I'm a narcissist, and that's the end of it.
I like listening to us too, which I think means we're pretty good.
Or that we're narcissists and it's actually really bad, but just hearing the sound of our own voice and opinions is like enough to delight. Just us.
I think that's enough reason to keep making these podcasts.
I think so.
Okay, but I have an exciting announcement.
Okay.
Yeah, since the email this morning, we are now at 11 listens.
What? Okay, I listened to all of them twice now. Okay. I really feel like it's just me listening multiple times.
Well, okay, but it says 5 distinct listeners. And it was 4 this morning.
Okay, so I did post on Reddit, which I was scared to do because I was like, they're gonna blast me for being me. But someone said that they had just purchased the leather bound copy and they're like, I'm gonna listen. And I was like, please do.
Someone responded?
Someone responded. So at first I posted, and Reddit, it defaults you with 1 like, kind of like to get the money in the tip jar, oil the grease.
It's when the casino gives you the free money to get you started.
Exactly. Yep. So they give you the 1 free like to get you started. And then that turned from a 1 to a 0. And I was like, boop.
And that's it.
But then it turned to a 2. And I was like,
2?
Or maybe even a 3. And I was like, oh my God, that means 4 people liked it.
Oh my.
Let me see. Okay, it was a 3, including me. So 2 other people liked it.
That's pretty good.
It was pretty good. And I got a comment and they said that they were going to listen. And I was like, thank you so much in advance. I appreciate it. So the good news is that I found out that Mom and Dad have not listened to any.
What? They said
aside from they listened to episode 2. Okay, they listened to episode 2, but they didn't listen to episode 1 or 3. So all of those are just you and me.
No.
And episode 3 is episode 3 has 5 listens. And we're only 2 people. And Mom and Dad's not one of the 5.
And our husbands aren't one of the 2 of the 5 either.
I know. So that's 3 people. So it's good.
Wow.
Doing good. I know. Who are you? Name yourselves.
I know.
I know you.
Yeah. Let us know what you think. Although at this point we're on I really don't know what episode we're filming right now. Maybe it's 12.
We are. So I was re-listening to episodes 1 through 3, and the whole time we're talking about we're gonna go faster. We never go faster.
Serious? We should start like I don't know, some sort of like bingo game or something where it's like Candice says they're gonna go faster next episode. Knock it off.
We never do. I think the number 1 tip-off that it's only been us who's listening is that because our audience is 100% female and one is between 23 and 7 and the other is between 28 and 34. So it's 1 for you and 1 for me. But 3 times.
But yeah. So I think we brought ourselves to the double digits.
You know what? Work harder, not smart. Work smarter, not harder.
So we're working smarter by just playing it to ourselves.
Yeah, just by listening. We're taking notes. We're trying to improve.
Do you see this?
70% is from Georgia, 30% is from Texas. Kill me. That's just us.
Wait, but why? Oh,
Because I've listened 70% is from Atlanta because I've listened to it so many times.
no,
I
100%.
love it.
Wait, but why doesn't that percentage match up with the age percentage? Shouldn't it be 60-40 again? Why is it 70-30?
I don't know. Maybe they have more information. Maybe if I'm like playing on my cell phone, not connected to my Wi-Fi, they know my age, not my location. I'll
Oh,
have to get a data science job at Spotify and then I can do some recon for us.
you should. You can really, oh, yep, there it is again. 63% Android, 36% iPhone. This is consistent.
Okay. Well, hi, Mom. Hope you're there.
She wasn't even one of them. It was only us.
She wasn't, but maybe she will be by the next time.
Maybe by this episode 12, other people will be here.
Yeah.
Wow, this
So,
was enlightening.
I know. Those numbers, they're misleading because I'm on TikTok and I'm constantly watching my own stuff. And then I'm like, wait a minute. That's just me. I just watched it 1,000 times.
When you're making good content, what can you say?
Well, if I'm the only one watching it, that's questionable if it's good content. But anything new going on with you? Anything you want to update us about?
I feel like last time all we talked about was my boob picture. So I think you need to give us an update. And if I have anything, I'll add it too.
Your boob picture. I remember the Sundays. What was
Yeah,
the other part?
your cupcake. That was a euphemism.
Yeah. How did the boob picture happen again?
I had a painting bonding.
That's right. I remember
Yeah,
now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you asked me because I have something prepared.
At least one of us came prepared.
I did come prepared. So this happened today. I was at the gym and I was working out and I'm over the age of 30 now.
As Spotify
And
told us in the age range 28 to 34.
Yep. Spotify has already categorized me as into the middle-aged person or the older adult. And so I work out at a gym with a lot of, like, I'm the youngest person at the gym, which is not always the case because now that I'm over 30, I'm not always guaranteed to be the youngest person in the room. When I was in the 20s, always guaranteed to be the youngest, not so much now. But at my gym, I am because it's in the burbs and you have like a lot of parents and working families. So we're working out and we're doing kind of like a warm up. And I think the movement we were doing was sit-ups and the music was not super loud. Normally during any time that people are moving, the music is loud, but the instructor didn't ramp up the music this time. And this person next to me farted so loud.
Oh no.
And it was huge. And I kind of like looked around with my eyes, but I didn't turn my head. I just kind of looked around to see if anyone was like gonna laugh. And no one did.
Everyone just kept going?
Everyone kept going like they didn't miss a beat. And then that's when I realized I was old.
That I was just gonna say that. That's how you know you're in the old person class now. They don't laugh at farts.
They're like, everybody's farting around here.
None of us can keep it in.
Yeah, it's like sometimes it just slips out, and that's okay.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Man, that's a tough realization.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
How'd it make you feel?
At first, I was kind of like, no one's going to laugh at this loud fart. And then I was like, okay, I'm juvenile. But then the other part of me is like, you guys are old. So that's what I have to share today.
Wow, that was a good one.
I thought so. Well, let's do the intro and you can roll us in with the summary.
Oh yeah, forgot we did that. All right, welcome to Bookalicious, a podcast where two sisters chat about books we're reading. I'm Chrissy.
And I'm Candice.
And today we think we are starting with chapter 35. We'll find out as we go along if we've already talked about this, but this feels pretty fresh. So chapter 35, we stopped here because so much happens in this chapter. It's one of Serene's chapters again, so you know she's doing a lot in her few pages. And in this chapter, it starts off with Sarene talking to, in my notes, I wrote down, Sarene talks to two old men, her dad and Royal. And in the first part, she's talking to her dad, and he's giving her some nice fatherly advice. And during that conversation, we hear a lot of the updates of what's been going on in Arleon, since we've last seen it. And then when she's talking to Royal, I don't know. Last time we talked about how he's kind of creepy, and you could read it in a few ways. But some things happen between Royal and Sarene. They make a political agreement. And then at the end, we see Sarene and Hrathen cross paths.
That sounds good to me. I think the biggest thing that we find out is that King Ioden kills himself.
Yeah. Yeah, they just dropped that on us.
Yep. So basically what happened in the previous chapter is that King Ioden was found out to be performing these sacrifices on all of his servants / help. And it became public that he was practicing these kind of pagan religions. And then the next day, I guess he was just like, I can't take it. And he hanged himself.
Wow. We suddenly see a lot of death in the last 3 chapters.
Yeah. So what did you think about that? Did that feel like a fitting end to King Ioden? Did it feel like too sudden?
It did feel a little bit sudden, because then he doesn't say anything. And he hasn't said anything in a really long time, actually, because he didn't really say anything when Sarene was like destroying him. And I don't think we really heard him say anything at the party. And then we see him sacrificing someone, and he doesn't say anything there, and then he's just gone.
I think the assumption is that we know that King Ioden is not going to make it on tax day. Whether he does or he doesn't, at this stage of the game, I think a lot of people would say you cheated. You used Tiad, i.e. Sarene, to help you. And so I think there would be like a lot of contesting his position. My question for you is, if you are in a stage of like leadership where you're like, this is what I'm doing, and then someone says you have to go from king to peasant or king to duke, and it's like a huge disgrace, does hanging yourself feel like maybe at the moment an appropriate solution?
Yeah, I mean, I see where that's coming from. I mean, you hang yourself or decide to do that or to take your own life when you feel like you have no other options, right? When you feel like that is the best option, is to just end everything. So I could see, I mean, that is what Ioden's whole life has revolved around, right? Was getting money and maintaining power in Arleon. And so if he's losing that, then it does feel like, wow, I have nothing else to live for. I don't think that's a good perspective or the right perspective. I see where he could kind of get to that. And maybe that makes it a fitting end for Ioden, because maybe he didn't have a lot of other substance to him. He was kind of just seemed one-dimensional, motivated by money, and that was it. But I don't know, was he just that one-dimensional?
I think, there's definitely more to him, because he was one way, and then once he became king, he changed, which we know from Royal. I think, too, having his son afflicted with becoming an Elantris, and now he doesn't even have an option for a legacy or anything like that. And I remember this from listening to our previous episodes. It's like, we had talked about how when you're living for someone else, sometimes that can give you motivation to get through difficult times where you're like, I need to be here because X, Y, and Z is counting on me. Sometimes that can give you a little bit extra oomph to get through something very difficult.
Yeah.
And I don't know that anyone at this stage of the game is really leaning on Ioden to take care of them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Right. I mean, his wife, we don't really know much about their relationship, but
It feels very convenience.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So it surprised me too when I read it the first time. But like you said, it's like I can kind of see it given the fact that it's like his family's not there. Things are looking really dire. I could see how in a quick decision you think this is going to be the right choice.
Right.
That said, I don't know what it is. Is it 100%, 90%, whatever it is? It's a very high percentage of people who decide to try to commit suicide and end their lives regret it.
Right.
When it comes to like that last moment where you're like, okay, this is it, your body and your mind is like, I don't mean this.
Yeah.
So just something to keep in mind.
Right. Oh, like as in that comes up later in the book, or just a life thing?
I just think it's a life thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Where it's like, if you feel like this is so hard and I can't get through this and it's impossible, just to know that like a lot of other people feel like that. And if it does feel like you're at a stage where you're like, I really want to harm myself or make sure that I don't have to experience this anymore, that other people who have gone through that, if they survive it, they always say they regret it. So,
Right. Yeah. It's a good reminder.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we learn about Ioden's end. What else do we learn from what's his name? Aventio?
We find out there's a spy. Eventio has a spy that he has keeping eyes on Sarene.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
One of my predictions when I read that was, is Royal the spy?
Oh, so you did think Royal was the spy in the previous chapter.
Yeah, you're right. I've had this thought a long time.
You have. You have.
So I don't know. I'm getting some weird vibes from Royal.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems, out of all the people in the guys club, like he's the main character that we see from him. So if any of them were to be more complex and not what we expect, I imagine it would be, Royal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, Sarene has a conversation with her dad, and through that conversation, we find out that the king killed himself, which we've talked about. Aventio was kind of like, I know this stuff. And she's like, how? And he's like, I have a spy. And then she's like, who's the spy? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you because you're going to be all up in their business. And that's just not going to be good for my spy. And then after that, we find out that the Pope from Teod is going to come visit
Oh, that's right.
Arleon.
Yes. Sinalan, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. So this is the patriarch of Serene's religion.
Mm-hmm.
And does Serene talk much about him in this chapter? Because I know she talks about him later.
So we don't learn much except that Sarene has a low opinion of him. So there's Ian Dell, and he's part of the guys club, and he's very devout, and he really loves this Pope guy. And Serene's like, I have been around this Pope guy for a long time, and he's really not that great. Ian Dell's like, what? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And then this is the line that I highlighted. Sarene scowled. You don't have to ward off evil, Ian Dell. I'm not going to reject Domi, her god, just because he put a fool in charge of his church. Fools need to have a chance to serve too. What do you think?
Pretty rude. Okay. Let me think about this. Well, I don't know. Can you be more specific?
So Serene's saying that this priest guy, he's basically a dud.
Right.
Dell's like, he's not a dud. He's Pope. And Serene says, well, you know what? Sometimes duds need to be in charge on occasion too. What do you think about that sentiment?
I don't know. I mean, I get what she's saying. Maybe it's not too harsh. Maybe she is just calling it what it is. Maybe because I'm coming from more of a faith background where I'm like, well, you still gotta respect them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's kind of where I'm like, I'm kind of with Dell.
Mm-hmm.
But I also get there are people who like aren't great leaders and they do bad things. And you do need to call that out. Right?
I agree with calling it out. The part that I really bristle at is that the fools need to have a chance to serve too. And well, maybe what she's saying is that they have a chance to serve, not lead.
Right. She doesn't say lead.
She says serve.
But the sentence before that is he put a fool in charge of his church.
I guess my overall sentiment is that fools have no space in leadership.
But what if it was like God ordained?
And they were a dum-dum?
Yeah.
Well, maybe if he magically made them not a dum-dum, then that's okay. But if he's just gonna leave them as a dum-dum and be like, you're in charge now, then that's gonna be a hard no for me.
Maybe there's a special purpose for the dum dum.
I mean, maybe there's like one of those movies where it's like the dum-dum's like in charge and he's making all of these things where you're like, that doesn't make any sense. And then every time he does it, it kind of works out.
Yeah.
So, okay, in that one scenario, maybe. But I do think the sentence fools need to have a chance to serve too, being that everyone has a place, whether I think what you believe is silly or not, it's like you have a place. I think that's true. I
Yeah.
don't know that silly people have a place in leadership though.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I definitely do. I did like that last line of fools need a chance to serve too.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what you're saying. Like there is a place for everybody. Um, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't choose a fool to be my leader. But I do feel like if someone's your leader, there's some level of authority and like respect. I mean, the respect that you give everybody, you know?
Right, exactly. You feel like Serene should, even if she feels that he has these faults, she should perhaps speak about some of his positives.
Um, or let's see. Or I mean, not even speak of some of his positives. What she said was Senelon is a self-serving egotist with enough pride to make a Dorethi Gyorn look humble. Like, you don't have to say that. Like,
That's correct.
you don't have to say anything positive if it's not true, if you don't think it.
That is true. So a line shortly after that kind of chastises Serene a little bit. So Royal says to Serene, Royal was laughing quietly to himself. What? Serene demanded. Royal, it's just that I was considering something, Serene. I don't think I've ever met anyone, male or female, that's quite as opinionated as you are. Then you lived a sheltered life, my Duke, Serene informed. And then she like goes on. So to me, Royal saying that is kind of like to your point where it's like Serene, if she has an opinion, she has to say it. And she just has to say it exactly as she thinks it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can be foolish in some things and wise in others. And you might argue Serene is a little foolish when it comes to tact sometimes.
I think Serene's very foolish when it comes to tact.
And not all the times though, because like she did make those deals with Ioden. Like she's done some tactful things. But
I think when she's putting on a facade, she can play the part. But when she's just being serene, she just lets it all hang out. And you're just like, maybe that Sarene should stay like a little more hidden.
Yeah,
I don't know.
personal Sarene does not have much tact.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Also a note, Sainalon, I don't know how you say his name, but he's the patriarch pope guy of Serene's religion.
Mm-hmm.
And he has the Aeon Allah in his name. Do you remember what that one means?
Oh, no. What does it mean?
It means beauty or handsomeness.
That makes sense because when he eventually emerges, he sounds very much, if you've watched Game of Thrones, have you?
I
Okay,
have.
well, all right. Well, the Game of Thrones, there's these people, and what are they called? I want to say Dorethi, but I know that's not right because that's what
These people are
this
called.
book is. Yeah, let me look it up. But there's these like dragon people, and they have like purple eyes and blonde hair and beautiful skin.
Oh yeah. Okay, I looked up dragon people.
What are they called?
That's kind of what I imagine Serene to look like.
Yeah, I agree.
Daner?
Targaryen.
Oh. Say that again.
Targaryen people.
Oh, Targaryen. Yeah, I see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of what I imagine Sarene to be also. Very beautiful, blonde hair. But in Serene's case, believing that she's ugly for some reason. But
Unreliable narrator. But yeah, okay, so
mm-hmm.
his name means beauty, and I don't know. We'll see if that comes up again.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so from there now, Serene and Royal talk, but well, it's actually okay. So now we're coming into Serene talking with a few of the people in the guys' club. Eondell's
Mm-hmm.
there, like we've said. Ahan comes. Lukel's there. I think that's it. Oh, Shuden's there. Maybe it's pretty much everybody. So whole gang is here, and they're like, all right, so Ioden died. What's gonna happen next? And they're realizing that based on money things, Duke Tellery's actually the next in line.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna take the throne. And they realize that Royal doesn't have enough money, Serene doesn't even have enough money. But if you add their wealth together, it's more than Tellery's.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. So then that leads them to the reasonable conclusion that what if Royal and Serene got married? Because it's been a very reasonable 2 weeks since her husband died.
Yes.
She's not mourning anymore.
Yes. Correct. Now it says in the book, for the second time in only 2 months, Sarene was engaged to be married. But we can assume she was engaged at least 2 to 3 weeks before she decided to leave Teod. So it's probably exactly as you said. She's been in Arleon for 2 weeks.
Yeah, right? Or no, it's probably been more than, I don't know, honestly, anymore.
Maybe it's been a month. Maybe I'll give them a month.
I bet a month. A month sounds right.
I'll give them a month.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Sarene and Royal being engaged?
I just have weird feelings about Royal now. I used to think it was really great, but I've just been getting some, I think there's something else there to where I'm like, this seems a little gross and not a big fan of this. I do think it sounds like a reasonable, like, political thing to do of like, okay, well, now they'll be able to take the throne, and that's better than Duke Tellery taking the throne. Yeah, like politically, it's like, okay, that seems like the next best move. Personally, don't love it. And I don't want this for Serene. I want Ioden to come jump out and be like, I'm here, and fix everything.
What do you think about the line? Royal found her, Serene's eyes, like those of a benevolent grandfather.
So gross. Like I can't get married. Not when he's a grandfather.
Now, Royal, in his defense, I don't know if he says it in this chapter or the next, but he's basically like, there's not like there wouldn't be expectations
Right. I
for them to go to
appreciate
Plowtown.
Is that what they're calling it these days?
That's what I would call it, Plowtown.
Yeah, I did appreciate that. I was like, okay, this makes me feel a little bit better. Because Sarene was like, well, but don't you want a hair? And he's like, no, no. And I was like, okay, that's good. And and Royal still does have a lot of really good advice in this chapter. He said the thing to Sarene about about being opinionated. He has a line here where Sarene's being hard on herself, and he says, "You're an excellent judge of character, Sarene. Accept your own. Often our own opinions of ourselves are the most unrealistic. You might see yourself as an old maid, but you are young and you are beautiful." And so like he does have a lot of good lines and a lot of good wisdom. So, but I still get a weird feeling from Royal.
I still get a weird feeling from Royal also, but that particular line I noted because we had talked about how Serene's always like, I'm so beautiful, blah, 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 blah. That's why people don't like me. And we had ideated the possibility that Sarene might not be a reliable narrator in terms of how she's being perceived by others.
Right.
And so this line to me, this is like the first time where we get confirmation that Serene's perceptions of how people see her is not accurate.
Yeah. Which is important now that we're more than 2/3 through this book. All of Serene's chapters had a layer of unreliable narrator.
Unreliable narrator. They had a layer of insecurity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Royal's coming in with some truth here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they're like, okay, we're going to be engaged, but it's only going to be for 4 days. And we're going to get married the day that we bury Ioden, the king, because they want zero gap between Sarene being royalty.
She's like, I've gotten used to this. I ain't moving.
She ain't moving. They're going to, on top of his grave, on top of his tombstone, have their wedding.
Yeah. I was like, what? This can't be real. All of this, I was like, this doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Yeah. And honestly, you can tell through this that Sarene also feels uncomfortable too. At least
What
that's
makes you say that?
maybe we see it more in her next chapter, but um let's think. Like when she says it's a 4-day engagement, or like so she's asking like, okay, well, when do you guys think we should, do this thing? And Royal says the day of Ioden's funeral, because technically Ioden's reign doesn't end until his burial. And then Sarene thinks 4 days, period. It would be a short engagement indeed, period. I took that
Mm-hmm.
as, oh, bummer. I thought I'd have some more time to get used to this.
Mm-hmm. So a couple lines after, this is what I took, and I had a different perspective. Sarene laid her hand on that of the Duke, smiling at the sweetness in his tone. All things considered, my lord, I think I'm rather fortunate. There are very few men in this world I would actually consider it an honor to be forced to marry. So I kind of took it as that even though Serene's kind of like icked out about it all because she's like, this is my grandpa, I feel like Sarene is just so obsessed with the idea of being married. She's like, well, I'll be married.
No, I didn't take it like that.
You don't think so?
No, I think she's just making the best of a bad situation. Where she's
Yeah.
like, I'm forced to do this and I don't like it, but like there are worse people to be forced to marry. But I don't think she's happy.
Mm.
That's what
I
I'm.
think that's probably an accurate read on it.
I see what you're saying too, because she has been, especially recently, talking a lot about wanting to be married. So I do see what you're saying. So, I don't know. Well, because also part of this is she says somewhere here where she's like, oh man, I thought I'd have another chance to be married. Let me see if I can find the line.
Sarene blushed, looking down. Still, his words were encouraging. Perhaps she did have hope. She would probably be in her mid-30s, but she would have at least one more chance to find the right man.
Yeah, it's probably that line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, this isn't the right man.
Yeah.
This isn't the marriage. And she does want to be married and not to Royal.
Yeah.
So, but he does have a very fitting name. So I guess we should have seen this one coming.
Yes. And so when I was listening back to our podcast, we had talked about what everyone's name means. And Royal's name means helper.
Oh, that's right.
And at the time when you were saying it, when we were talking about it, you said it didn't seem to fit because he seemed more of a leader versus a helper.
Right.
But now that we're here, what are you thinking?
Oh, what a good question. I'm so glad we've been listening to ourselves so much.
I know, I'm obsessed.
Well, okay, now, I do think that is more fitting. I think also because now I realize like, oh, Royal is the old guy. And I think he definitely was a leader, but now he is more in that like mentor guide role kind of thing. So he is the helper. But I also have a conspiracy, which I probably mentioned last time. So I've talked about how I think Royal is possibly the spy. And one of my predictions when I read this chapter is that he's actually still on Ioden's side. And that somehow he planned all of this. And so he's Ioden's helper.
Interesting. Well, so I was just going to say that Royal was Ioden's helper because he said in an earlier chapter that he helped Ioden create this world.
Right. And he still likes it.
Interesting.
I don't know, but I know. So he's pretty complex because, well, I guess he hasn't actually done anything bad yet, but I'm expecting he's going to. But he still also has all these wise lines.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we'll definitely keep our eye on it. But this chapter rounds out with the big cliffhanger that Hrathen has been healed from Elantris. And so he's now unspotted and flesh colored. And now he's like knocking on the doors saying, let me out, let me out, let me out. I'm cured. And it's gotten all the way to Sarene.
Whoa. Wow. All right. Ready for chapter 36?
Yep.
This was kind of nice because we were on like a cliffhanger and then it goes immediately into Hrathen.
Yes.
So this worked out well. All right. So we're on chapter 36. This one is also in the trilogy of chapters called Ash, which means light or illumination. And in this one, we have Hrathen, and he's been healed, and he is making his way out of Elantris. And on the way, he catches up on the last 5 days of news, and a lot has happened. And no one is happy that Hrathen is healed, but Hrathen feels very good about himself. And then assassin. That's my summary.
The assassin?
Yep, there's an assassin. That's a cliffhanger in this chapter.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you want to go, what was your first line that you highlighted?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you said that Hrathen was like banging on the doors to get out of Elantris. All the guards have left guarding, they've stopped guarding Elantris, and Hrathen doesn't really know why. So, but all he knows is that he's trying to get out of here and there's no one to open the doors for him. And he has this thought of like, oh my gosh, what if I die in Elantris because of starvation? Because it's been like 5 days now and I'm about to die. And that would be terribly ironic. And that would have been awful. But his next line is, he didn't regret his actions. He had behaved in the most logical way. It had been desperate logic, but rational nonetheless. And so I highlighted that line because it just shows he's a man of logic until the end. Like he's willing to die on this mountain of whatever he has logicked his way to.
Yes. So I had a few lines highlighted before that. So Hrathen, before he's healed, he's, as Chrissy said, He's very hungry. He's starting to enter these delusions, kind of these memories of his past. And then he has memories of Dakor, which we know is like a really scary monastery that trains these crazy monks. And so it kind of, we kind of go into this memory of Hrathen as a child, and he's in Dakor, and then he's just thinking about all of it. And then he says, Vrathbor Monastery trained assassins, Vigeldor Monastery trained spies, Dakor Monastery trained demons.
Whoa.
So what do you think?
I thought that was a wow line. I thought like that was a mic drop moment. I don't see Hrathen as a demon though. He seems like a really kind and misguided demon. He's doing some demonish things, but he's trying to do his best. I could see Deloth as a demon. Maybe he went to Dakor too.
I could see Deloth as a demon also. But what we do know about Hrathen is that when some of the Elantrians tried to come and get his food that he had, his little seeds and his wine flask, I don't know if we mentioned this in the recap, but he had these like crazy cat-like reflexes, and he just destroyed anyone who tried to come up to him.
Right.
And then we found out, okay, he not only knows a lot theologically, but he is like a trained crazy monk.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. And yeah, that wasn't a kind thing to do. That was a little demonish. That's true.
I mean, I think there is something where it's like, if you're on quote unquote, if you go to prison, it's like maybe you kind of need to assert your dominance. So I can definitely understand and empathize with the desire to be like, okay, you're not going to mess with me.
Yeah.
Because I can take care of myself. So I wouldn't say that his actions necessarily were demonish, but we do see that he seems to be very strong, very fast.
Yes. So are we trying to figure out like what do they mean by demons? Is it just like a killing machine, do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. By demon, I understood it immediately as someone who is just so turned from good, they were willing to do any amount of evil. And I guess being physically trained would give you the tools to do that.
Yeah. I mean, that would kind of surmise Hrathen, right? He's so fixated on this goal that he will compromise any of his beliefs if he thinks that it will achieve what he needs to do.
Right. And I guess because Hrathen thinks he's doing a good thing. So maybe a demon is more, they've inverted what is good and what is bad. Maybe that's
they don't even know anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. But Hrathen seems to be cracking a little bit. He's questioning if this is a good thing. So my one last line in this little section, I just thought it was kind of funny. So this is when he's still thinking about if he's going to die of dehydration and hunger. And he says, had he continued in K, he would have grown more impotent with each turning day. No, it was much better to die of dehydration. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And so it's like, he'd rather die of dehydration than like lose power. But also I kind of took it as like, I guess impotent doesn't really mean this, but it reminded me of like when you need to ask someone for something, but you're like, I don't want to be an inconvenience. I'll just suffer through it. And it's like you're dying or something.
Yes.
It's like, I don't need clean water. I'll just keep drinking the dirt water. I don't want to ask I don't want to be a bother.
So I definitely have felt exactly as you're describing. I think that particular line with Hrathen, though, is that he would rather die a martyr than live a life as an unimportant person.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. All right. So now this brings us to the next part what happens here? Or what was your next line you had?
Well, so my next line was that it was talking about the potion that he had taken. And so he had contacted someone who wasn't Dorothi, and he had a very low opinion of him. And he's like, he's a goob. And then the goob turns out to really do a great potion. And so the line that I highlighted was, but Hrathen had misjudged the apothecary. He had done as asked, even if the effects had lasted a bit longer than expected. And so that was just me underlining again this theme of people underestimating others because they have particular prejudices or stereotypes against them.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. But that's all I had for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't really have any lines picked up, but as he's banging on the door, eventually guards do come, and the guard who comes is the one who Hrathen has been trying to pay off. So all of his little bribes have worked because now he's the one who saves Hrathen from Elantris. And as Hrathen is walking out, he's saying, Lord Jadith has heard my pleas. And he's attributing his, miraculous healing, of course, to Jadith so that everyone will convert. And as he leaves, he has a nice little farewell to his Elantrian friends, and he says, joy or damnation, shuts the gate.
Oh my God. Okay, so quick question. Suppose you knew if you falsified a miracle, you would convert 1,000 people. And your religion is correct and it's right. And if you're not converted, you're, damned to wherever. So if you do a little fib, you would convert 1,000 people. Would you do it?
I know. I mean, when you're faced with an option like all hell's breaking loose on tax day, and I know the day it's happening, and I can confirm these are terrible things that are going to happen to you, I think I have more sympathy for that. But still no.
Yeah.
Because this reminds me of when I was listening back on our previous podcasts. Everyone can go listen back to episodes 1 through 3. They're just so great.
They are.
They are. But we had one part where we talked about truth. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. And we talked about like, is there a truth that you'd be willing to die for? And like, does truth change? Things like that. And I'm still on the bandwagon that truth is truth. You can't change it. And the true thing is, Jadith didn't heal him from this.
Yeah.
So I think you can't. Don't think I could do it.
I think fundamentally we as people are not ends justify the means. That said, I don't know that we've ever been in a place of needing to evoke such a drastic measure.
I think that's a great point. Yeah. If we were in the same situation and we actually felt like we had 1,000 people's lives on our hands, yeah, that might change things.
Yeah.
So
it's the burning building. It's really easy to say what you're going to do when the building is burning, but once you're inside a building that's on fire and you feel like your life is in danger, your choices might be different.
Right. Yeah. What do you think? What would you do? And what do you think of Hrathen's choices?
I can understand why he did it. I think before I would go to the stage of try to deceive people with this miracle, I feel like I probably would have just bent the knee to Delof.
Oh, let him do everything?
Well, now I don't know because Delof is a master murderer and he wants to kill everybody.
I know. And then you're like condoning that. Or did you just put a fool on the throne? Like talking about.
Now I'm really torn.
That's tough.
I think I think if I had done it, maybe I would go in and I would just try to assimilate with the Elantrians for a little bit. I don't think I would make like such a show of it. I don't know. I don't know if that's any better.
But like at the end, would you still attribute your miraculous healing to Jadith?
Probably.
It's kind of the same.
It's pretty much the same. Yeah, I guess I would do what he did.
Yeah.
If those were my options, I think I would do what he did.
Right. You don't have a lot of good options there.
Yeah.
And you are doing it with good intentions of, well, I need to save all these people.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want them to die.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just don't want to be a failure.
I think
no, I'm not
I
saying
think that's
saying Hrathen.
I was gonna say, I think a big motivation of Hrathen not bending the knee to Delof is because he wants to feel important and he doesn't want to be seen as a failure. He already had the failure in Duladel. And I don't know that his ego can survive another failure.
I don't think it can, because he'd rather die of dehydration than be impotent. So he's reaching the end of his rope too.
Yes.
So I don't know.
So the next scene, Hrathen catches a glance of Sarene.
Ah, yeah. Okay, he sees Sarene. So yeah, so now he's made out of Elantris. The guard let him out, and now he's doing his whole parade throughout the whole city to say,
Yes.
like, look, everyone, it's me. And I thought it was interesting because I don't know if you thought this too, but I felt like I was picking up on some Jesus symbolism here again. Maybe it's because it's just like vague enough to where it's like, sure, that can be related to Jesus. Or maybe it actually is. I don't know. But there is a line where he's walking through and it says that he's making a show of all of his clothing was still stained, but he held himself as if to make the grime a badge of pride. And so like the dirt signaled his suffering and showed like, how great he was. And there's a line where a woman or maybe just someone wanted to reach out to touch his Elantrian robe in awe.
Oh yeah.
So I was getting some what was I saying?
Imagery.
Yeah.
Illusions.
Yeah. I was getting an allusion to, the woman who reached out and was healed when she touched Jesus's robe.
I think there's definitely part of that. And I was just looking to see how long was Hrathen in Elantris. He was there for 5 days, not 3. But even still, it's like that probably goes more to the miracle where it's like you thought he was dead for 5 days and he comes back and it's like he's revitalized, he's healed. All of these people are so impressed.
Right. Yeah. So I thought that was
a line that I highlighted. So this is Hrathen's justification for our problem where we were like, I don't know what I would do, blah, 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 blah. It didn't bother him, Hrathen, that the miracle was an effect of Fortin's potion. Hrathen had found that most supposed miracles were either natural or the result of human intervention. Jadith was behind them, as he was behind all things, using natural phenomena to increase the faith of man. So Hrathen's saying that even by tricking these people, Hrathen gave me the intelligence and the connections in order to trick the townspeople. And if it leads them to be saved, then that is good.
Right. That's a good way to logic yourself to this conclusion. Is to just kind of think what you want and then say, and Jadith put it all together. And that's just kind of always the background.
Well, and to Hrathen's point, what he uses to like buttress his claim is that when he had that potion for Sarene, he wasn't sure that she was going to get it on time.
Right.
Because if she had come down with the illness after the marriage, then it would have been a moot point.
Right.
But it happened at the last second.
Right.
And so in his mind, he was like, that was my God making sure that everything went exactly as it needed to go.
Right. But it was still Hrathen pulling the strings.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Um, yeah. Did you have another line here?
I have another one with Delof and Hrathen.
Ooh, I have one with Sarene. Where's that line where he sees Sarene? Oh, okay. All right. So as he's walking down, he's like feeling really good about himself and he's looking at everybody. Um, and he sees the Teo princess's head poking out of a carriage window. And in that
Mm-hmm.
instant, Hrathen felt a sense of fulfillment that rivaled the day he had been consecrated as a Gjorn. His healing wasn't just unexpected, it was unfathomable. There was no way Sarene could have planned for it. For once, Hrathen had total and complete advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like this whole section was just Hrathen having that approval or proving to himself that he's enough. He's like, look, I can outsmart Sarene and I can have a successful plan and I can carry it all the way through. And like that's what he's here for.
Yeah, I feel like Hrathen's starting to conflate what his religion is with what his personal motivations are.
Yeah.
And it's becoming more and more blurred because he's talking about how he's like, oh my God, like allowed me to do all these things. And like, look, like I'm so smart. I outsmarted everyone. I'm so great. Blah, 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 blah. And it kind of just seems like he's doing a lot of things for his own ego, his own purposes, and then trying to tie it back to, oh, well, this was religiously motivated, even though it
Oh,
wasn't.
that's interesting. I think I definitely do see that. Or like he's kind of becoming his own god, right? He's the one
Mm-hmm.
doing the miracles. He's the one pulling the strings.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's his motivation behind all of this? Like his main motivation was proving that he's enough, or was his main motivation converting everybody?
I don't think his motivation was ever converting people. I think his motivation was always to be important. And I think we saw a phase where he was questioning, is that good? Is that bad? And then he decided it's a good thing. And now he's leaning into it. And now it's going to just balloon.
Oh, that's super interesting. I like that perspective. I hadn't thought about it because what was he questioning? He was questioning, he didn't have like the emotion, he just had the
Mm-hmm.
logic,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And he said, oh, that's enough. Okay. But I like what you're saying of he was also questioning, like, is my motive of doing it so that I have done something good and like I'm important? Is that enough?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I like what you're saying. I think you're right.
And I think he's trying to like logic his way into passion almost,
Oh, okay.
where it's like if he was quote unquote like Delof, let's say, Delof would come out and be like, my God did all these things. He's so amazing. Look what he did for me. Blah, 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 blah. And Hrathen's like, well, I did those things, but it was God who allowed me to do those things.
Oh,
So it almost kind of, I don't know.
very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think that points again to Hrathen wanting to be the important one.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, and so he meets all the townspeople, and then he makes it to the chapel where he, in the last burst of energy, he's gonna fall on his knees and like lead the church service.
Yes.
And he sees his good pal Delof.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Delof is the Hrathen notes this was a confrontation he had hoped to avoid until he had some rest. Which I think we've all had those situations.
Yes.
I need
Yes.
to nap before I talk to you. But anyways, Dilov is very surprised to see him, and he seems to have some authentic like reverence for Hrathen. He says, "My Hrathen," he whispered. I doubted you, my Hrathen, Dilaf confessed. I thought Lord Jadeth had cursed you for incompetence. Now I see that your faith is much stronger than I realized. I now know why you were chosen to hold the position of Gjorn. And it's like, and I think later we find like this wasn't 100%, authentic or genuine what he's saying. But I did sense like at least a little level of Dilaf gained some respect for Hrathen.
I agree. I think Dilaf felt like he was playing Hrathen like a fiddle.
Yeah.
And Hrathen kind of turned the tables a little bit, and Dilaf was not expecting that.
Yeah. So do you think Dilaf has similar motivations of like, I just kind of want to win this game and like I want to outsmart Hrathen and like do all these things? Or do you think Dilaf is actually religiously motivated?
So I'm trying to remember back when I had read this chapter. I believe what my take was basically that Dilaf is a single note hateful person. And he wants to serve the person that's most powerful, and he just wants to do whatever that mission is. And
Yeah.
so the only respect that he gives is if like you can show dominance or power.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that's a good assessment. I think that sounds pretty right. We don't get to see Dilaf's inner thoughts because, as we know, your outer actions don't always represent what's going on inside your mind. We've seen that a lot with Hrathen. And so we don't know if Dilaf actually believes the things he's saying and doing, or if you're right, he's just kind of trying to find power, hates some people, and wants to use his power to see the end of them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we end this section with Hrathen going through his things. He found out that it had kind of been ransacked a little bit. And then he found his Sion, which was in a box. And he opens up the Sion. He's like, did anyone talk to you? And the Sion's like, no, I've been alone. He's like, good. And then he's like, call. Let's see. Oh, I guess that was it. He just wanted to make sure that no one had found his deep, dark secret. And then he drank some wine and went to bed.
And he slammed the door on the Seon. And he said, all right, bye. I know. poor Seon. It's like, oh, finally attention. And then he gets slammed back into the thing.
Yeah.
But the box that the Seon is in was like scratched. And so it looked like someone was trying to get into it.
Yes.
So Dilaf might have had his little grubby hands on it.
I think he definitely had his grubby hands on it.
Yeah. There's also a note here.
Is it about the assassin?
Oh, maybe. Oh, you know what? No, maybe I think never mind. This comes up in the next chapter, so never mind. The next chapter.
So we close this chapter and Hrathen picks up another priest who had arrived not too long after him. And this particular priest was trained in Rathbor Monastery, which is the assassins. And so Hrathen's basically like, are you assassin? He's like, yeah, I'm an assassin. And then he's like, great, I need you. And he's like, what do you need? And because he's a Jorn, he's able to employ this assassin to do something. So we're just kind of setting up this feature plot of Hrathen trying to assassinate someone. But King Ioden's already dead, so it's kind of like, who's he going to go after next?
Who did you think when you first read this?
I think when I was reading this, I didn't pick up on any of that. And I was like, I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's fair.
What do you think?
When I read this, I wrote Dilaf.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah, he's gonna get rid of him once and for all.
Yeah, my gut instinct reading it the second time without being like, oh, I know what's gonna happen is that it's Sarene. Or Sarene or Royal.
Royal? Why Royal?
Just try to get rid of your competition.
I was thinking you meant Rayo.
Oh, Ioden.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
you know each other. Okay, yeah. Okay, royal makes sense. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So either one of those, just trying to get rid of his competition.
All good thoughts. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So the next chapter is really short. So let's get through that.
We should add that to our bingo card.
I think so. How many times do we say the chapter short?
Okay, so this is chapter 37, and we have a new chapter title. These 3 chapters are called Ioden, which means wisdom, and which is also the name of Raoden's Seon. And it's kind of interesting because the last set of chapters were called Ash, which is Sarene Seon. And now we have Ioden, which is Raoden's Seon.
Oh.
No, and Hrathen just spoke to his Seon. So,
Interesting.
oh, what's the say on all these Seons?
I don't know.
Did you like my pun?
I liked it. So Ash, what does he mean? Light? He means
Light.
light.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what I would say is that it's like we saw like a light on King Ioden. He was quite literally in a sewer in the darkness. We put a light on that.
We sure did.
I think we put a light on Hrathen. Now we fully know his objective and his goal. He feels very like aligned, whereas before he's kind of wishy-washy. Yep.
Well, okay, so actually the sewer chapter, that chapter is called Aha, which means breath. So the first Ash chapter is when we find out about Sheor. Sheor's men come and bring her wig as a peace offering to Raoden.
Oh. So maybe they come to the light.
Yeah, they come to the light. Raoden learns more about Elantris and why it glows.
Yep. Yep. So that makes sense.
Right. There's a character named Dash who comes, and Dash has the same as that Ash.
Mm-hmm.
The Sarene chapter is the one we just talked about.
Yeah. So I guess with Ioden, well, because I said Ioden in the sewer, but like we found out he killed himself.
Right.
I don't know if that talks about light. Maybe there's like hope because Ioden's gone.
Oh, that could be it.
And now there's kind of like maybe there's like a path forward. I don't know.
That could be it. I don't know. I feel like some of them it's more clear how the name relates. I guess light though could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
So
Literal or figurative.
right. So, but these next 3 chapters are called Ioden, which means wisdom. And we're starting with Raoden, and he has another episode, one of his pain episodes. But he also gets closer to discovering the secret of the door and the problem with Elantris. And Raoden is skeptical of Hrathen's recovery. And I made a note, Raoden is the only one with genuine friends. That was my summary.
I agree. That sounds like a very fair summary.
Honestly, I'd want to be an Elantris.
Yeah, the first line that I have underlined is like halfway through the chapter. So I don't know if you have anything on those first pages or two.
Okay. Let me see. Yes. Let me see where this was. I didn't write down my page number for this.
Oh, so something that we find out is that when Raoden's having his episode, he's glowing.
Oh yeah, we find that out this chapter.
We find out that he's like when he's having the episode, he's glowing. And then the line that I had underlined is in relation to that. So this is Galladon to him. Some people are closer to the door than the others. In Elantris, some people could create aeons much more powerful than others, and some seemed more intimate with the power. So what I was taking from this is that for whatever reason, Raoden has like a direct connection to the magic, and the magic's trying to break out from where it's at, and it can't, like we talked about, it's like the wrong shape. It can't fit its way out. So it's trying to just bust its way through Raoden's body.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So it needs to go through an aeon and Raoden is not an Aeon, as far as but I do have this prediction, is that there needs to be unity for the door to get through.
Oh.
Maybe unity between Sarene and Raoden, or maybe unity among the Elantrians. I think you need more than just Raoden. I think you need two people.
I think so. I think that's a good prediction.
Oh, let's.
It's more than I usually give you. That's the only thing that I have highlighted in this whole chapter.
Okay, I have a line. I can't find it. But it relates to what to Hrathen's chapter. And this chapter is only a page long, so I don't know why I can't find it. Let me look over here. Okay,
Is it about Raoden being skeptical?
Oh, maybe. What does that say?
Here's a line. So basically Raoden's explaining why he's dubious that Hrathen was cured naturally. And he says there was a lot of fuss pulling Hrathen from the city. If I were the Wern or the head guy, I wouldn't want a Derethi Elantrian hanging around to bring shame on my religion. I'd send an envoy to pull him out, telling everyone he'd been healed, and then hide him back in my home country. So basically he's saying the only reason why Hrathen willingly went into Elantris is because he knew that he was going to get out.
Yeah, I mean, Raoden kind of sees through Hrathen's whole plan. Right. We find out later, I don't think we see it in this chapter, but some of the people were like, wow, Hrathen was healed, and like they're having some hope from this. And Raoden's like, he's not squashing their hope, but he's also like, this ain't right.
Yeah.
Raoden sees it. Okay, that wasn't the line I was thinking of. I actually have the line written down, but it's weird that I can't find it. But my note was Raoden definitely does not believe in a god, because the line is, they needed to work and improve their own lives, not wait for some external miracle. He turned back to his studies. And so he's kind of doing, I saw some similarities between him and Hrathen, where he's like, all right, I got to take matters into my own hands. I got to fix this thing. And I also, and honestly, I mean, Sarene doesn't seem to be motivated by faith really either. Like, it's kind of a part of who she is, but kind of like, it doesn't seem to be a motivating factor for her. So it seems like with Raoden, Hrathen, and Sarene, they're both, maybe they're relying on their own skills to get out of their situations. And so Raoden is trying to get out with his studies, and then Hrathen is trying to get out with his like schemes, and then Sarene's trying to get out of them with her wit. That was my thought.
Yes, which I would agree. So some pushback. What if what Sanderson is trying to say is that you don't need to have a formal religion or a formal proclamation of your faith in order to do quote unquote the right thing? Like maybe you can have some connection to the spiritual world without having a formalized religion like Raoden. Right.
Yeah, I think that's fair too. Also, I mean, I think they can all do the right thing. Right. And also, as I was thinking about that, I was like, well, that'd be a really boring book if they were like praying the whole time.
Yeah.
Like they have to be doing their own thing too. So maybe that wasn't the right like conclusion from that sentence, but it did remind me of Hrathen kind of getting out of his own thing.
Yeah, and I would agree that it seems like Hrathen's far more religious than either Sarene or Raoden. They seem more kind of casual about it.
Right. Yeah.
So this chapter concludes. So I think the part where you said that people were sad, Galadin looked a little crestfallen at the line of conversation about the Jorn getting healed as a mockery, as a fake. He, like others in Elantris, had received a measure of hope from Hrathen's healing. Raoden hadn't said anything outright to discourage people's optimism, but inside he was more reserved. Since the Jorn's departure, nobody else had been healed. It was a hopeful sign, but somehow Ioden doubted it would mean much of a change in the Elantrian people. They needed to work and improve their own lives, not wait for some extended miracle. He turned back to his studies.
That's the line I just was looking for.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he was just kind of like, we can't just wait around for something to happen. Like, we need to put in the effort to make it happen.
Yeah.
And Andrew says this a lot. I can't remember the exact quote, but basically it's like lucky people are people who are like prepared for opportunity.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a hand in hand. It's like you need to have someone come out and say, hey, here's an opportunity, or something happens for you that's lucky, but you also need to be prepared to receive it.
Right. Or like there's no such thing as luck, only prepared people or something like that. Is that kind of the idea?
Well, I definitely think there's a layer of luck to anything. Like, I can't, even if I'm so prepared, I can't make something happen.
Right.
I can't make someone else do something. But if I'm investing in myself and making sure that I'm ready for any opportunity, anytime something comes along and it seems like it's the right fit, then I'm ready to take it. I don't have to second guess.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right.
But I don't think I have it in me because it's almost 10 o'clock my time to do this next chapter.
You know, and it's Sarene. A lot happens in Sarene's chapters.
Yes.
Man, oh man. But I think we made some good progress.
I think this was good. So what do you want to do for our Bookalicious sign off?
I don't know. It's kind of a lot of pressure.
Well, we'll see you next time. If you liked it, give us a 5-star review. That sounds good.
I like that.
I like that too.
And we'll know how long you listened because we're very into these stats.
Well, and there's only me and Chrissy right now, so we'll know if anyone else is added.
Right. Guess what?
What?
We have 12 plays.
What?
Yep.
No way.
Do. Okay. Yep, 2 people have played episode 3 today. Yep.
Wait, I played episode 3 today.
Well, yeah, but it's saying, but when we first started this show, it said 1 person. Now it said 2 people.
So now there's another one?
I think so. I don't know. It's a little unclear because the stats on like where they listen to are still the same. Maybe they're still listening to it. Maybe that's it.
Okay. Well, because my Reddit post had 2 votes. Now it has 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. We could be getting someone.
I know. Hello, welcome. Hopefully you make it here.
Wow. Okay. We didn't think of a goodbye.
Okay. Well, this is it. Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and give us a good review, please.
Yes. Let us know if you have any book recommendations.
Yep.
And if you have any questions or other things you'd like us to chat about.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Bookalicious. If you like this discussion, please rate or subscribe to our channel to help other book lovers find this content as well. If you have any questions or suggestions for future books, we'd love to hear from you at bookalicious.pod@gmail.com. As always, thanks for joining our club.